In the cold, shadowed corridors of history, there are few figures as chilling, as terrifying as the name Elizabeth Bathory, a woman of high rank, wealth and power, who became one of the most notorious figures in true crime lore. But how did a noblewoman, praised for her beauty and poise, transform into a figure so monstrous that her very name would be synonymous with bloodshed and death? Born in 1560 in the Kingdom of Hungary, Elizabeth Bathory was a woman of privilege. She was part of one of the most powerful families in Hungary, the Bathory family. Raised in nobility, she had access to the best education, wealth and social status that many could only dream of. But underneath her serene and aristocratic appearance, dark rumours would soon begin to surface. Rumours that would change her legacy forever. At the age of 15, Elizabeth was married to Ferenc Nadasdy, a soldier who would spend much of his time away at war. With her husband often absent, Elizabeth took control of the family estate in Countess, where, allegedly, she began to indulge in darker and more sinister activities. With power and control of the estate, Elizabeth became known as a cruel and vindictive ruler. However, it wasn't until the early 1600s that the rumours truly began to take shape, painting a horrifying picture of what might have been happening behind the castle walls. Accounts of Elizabeth's sadistic behaviour started circulating, whispers of torturing servant girls, of disappearances, and the most terrifying of all, that she believed bathing in the blood of virgins would preserve her youth and beauty. These horrifying acts were said to include torture, mutilation, and even murder. Hundreds of young women, mostly peasants or servants, were reportedly lured to the castle with promises of work or better lives, only to meet grisly fates. Some reports suggest Elizabeth killed over 600 victims, though the truth of these numbers is still up for debate. Victims were allegedly tortured in unimaginable ways, beaten, starved, and even burned. Some accounts claim Elizabeth would bite them, drink their blood, or immerse them in freezing water until they froze to death. The cruelty she is said to have shown was beyond comprehension. Despite the increasing number of rumours, it wasn't until 1610 that the authorities took serious action. After local Protestant ministers raised alarms, an investigation was launched, and witnesses, including former servants, came forward with shocking testimony. Elizabeth was arrested, and what the authorities uncovered was chilling. At her trial, Elizabeth was accused of murdering young women. Though no actual bloodbath was ever found, survivors testified to witnessing her horrific acts. The most damning evidence was a pile of corpses found near her castle, suggesting the extent of her crimes. Despite the evidence, Elizabeth Bathory was never put to death. Instead, she was imprisoned in a set of rooms in her own castle, where she spent the last few years of her life in isolation. She died in 1614, her once grand estate now a haunting reminder of her horrific legacy. To this day, Elizabeth Bathory remains a figure of fascination, her crimes clouded in mystery. Was she truly the Blood Countess, a sadistic killer who thought blood would keep her young? Or was she the victim of political conspiracies and a smear campaign, with much of the evidence fabricated to bring down a powerful woman? The truth may never be fully known, but her name has become synonymous with horror. Whether truth or myth, the legacy of Elizabeth Bathory has been immortalised in the annals of true crime, inspiring countless stories, films, and even speculation on her true nature. Her name, entwined with murder and madness, is forever etched in history as one of the most infamous women who ever lived. Was Elizabeth Bathory a heartless killer or a victim of her time and circumstances? The world may never know, but her story remains one of the most terrifying and captivating in true crime history.